Bismillah. I want to talk about what I will say two powerful arsenals that should be in the life of a believer to help him in worshipping Allah if he seeks to achieve Jannah. Now, of course, you should know that Allah created us to worship Him, and if one chooses to worship Him, then we are going to be tested, and the test can be it gets hard according to our level. Two things that have helped me and they are still helping me, and I feel like I've not even gotten to the depth of like what they imply are Tawheed and Qadr. So Tawheed is usually defined as singling Allah out in three attributes: His Lordship, His worship, and His names and attributes. That He is one in His Lordship, His authority and control over the universe. He is one in His worship, none has the right to be worshipped but Him. And He is one in His names and attributes, there is none co-equal or comparable to Him. So another way this is simplified is that Allah is the cause of all things, and all are the means, and the means are just the means. So whatever reaches you in this world is from Allah, which ties into Qadr. Qadr is the belief that whatever you get, right, Allah has written it for you, whether it's for you or against you, and you are never going to miss it. And whatever you missed, you are never going to get it. Or another way to say, whatever calamity befell you, you are never going to miss it. And whatever like good fortune you missed, you are never going to obtain it. So putting them together or connecting them is that everything is from Allah. He causes everything to reach us, and whatever He has decreed for us, right, before we came to this world, is what is going to happen to us, and it cannot be changed. Now, people try to use it as their advantage to follow their desires and actually do that which He has forbidden them. And some people like try to use it to worship Allah, believing that all that He has commanded is good and nothing should stop them from doing what He has commanded. And the reality of these two concepts is that, especially Qadr, is that is not really something that, especially the logical mind, can come to understand. There was there was something that I saw written about Qadr, and it was said that Qadr, the knowledge of it, is from the secret of Allah. So whoever tries to understand it, he will be misguided. Rather, it's something that Allah has kept secret. So the point is not to try to understand it. The point is to believe it. When the Sahabas were asked about Qadr, and this was all the belief that all of them like had synonymously, if that is correct. That is that they will say that, okay, I didn't memorize it, but they said along the lines of whatever whoever Allah punishes in this world, whoever He was to punish among the inhabitants of the heavens and the earth, He was going to punish them justly, and He will not do it being unjust, right? And that if you were to spend the weight of Uhud, the amount of spell the mountain of gold, let's just say it like that, right, without believing in Qadr, then Allah was not going to accept it from you. And whatever good happened to you, whatever good whatever good happened to you was always going to meet you, and whatever bad happened to you was always going to meet you, and whatever did not meet you, it was never going to meet you. And I think the main thing there in that statement is that Allah is not unjust, So if you are punished, then you are deserving of punishment, right? That is it. So basically, uh, I summarized it to say that all good is from the hands of Allah, or from what I've learned, and all bad is from my hand. That is, we don't attribute evil to Allah, and we attribute it to ourselves because of what our hands has set forth, as has been explained in several places. And so there is no injustice that is done to us, and we are tested, and all are a means. So, in like trying to understand it and how it will like be such a let's say such a powerful arsenal in what we need to do, right? I say that all everything, right, in the whole existence is Allah's commands and control, and all everything that is willed, whatever anybody wills, right, it is dependent on Him. So nothing will be done unless Allah wills it, and nothing happens except by His permission. And so, if we understand the reality of people who signify the bulk of our test, right, it means that they cannot benefit us except with what Allah wills and has written for us, and at the same time, they also cannot harm us except what Allah wills and has written against us. And so, they have no power, and all power belongs to Allah, and everything happens by His command and His permission. It does not mean that the people don't have choice, but their choice are dependent on His. Even though, like, we don't know this, this is the reality of the situation. And so, if this is the case, people are not really to be considered. And by considering, I mean that the cause is attributed to them. Rather, they can be seen as a major factor if you say that they have choice to be played, and they can make a choice, and that choice based it will be a means by which we receive what Allah has written for us. And so what Allah has written for us was destined to meet us, and so the blame is not on them, but rather we accept what has been decreed for us. There was Okay, I don't want to go and start quoting ayahs, but I want to talk about how it helps me, right? Because sometimes the statements of the people and the fear of people, they hold me back in doing what I'm supposed to do. But when I think about this, I ponder upon how people can't really do anything except what Allah has written for me, and all that has been written for me, good or bad, will reach me, and there is no escape. And so it implies that people are just the means, and the means by which Qadr reaches you from Allah are not to be considered. Rather, you consider Allah and be conscious of Him, right? So it's like, when things happen and we be like, oh, if only this, if only that. Well, what Qadr explains is that there is no if, rather, is what has been written for you, and you were never going to escape it, whether you liked it or you did not like it. That includes the things that you like, and that includes the things that you didn't like. Now, one of our great scholars said that, like, so whoever holds on to this, right, the whole all the power in the earth cannot stand up to him. But I don't believe it's about having that power if it belongs to Allah, and it does. Rather, I think it's about not fearing the people, and not even trying to overcome them in argument or feeling superior to them. Or it's not about like trying to blame them or not hoping for them, trying to not blame them and not hoping anything from them. But it's about the truth and the depth of this statement, that everything is from Allah. He gives you whatever you have, and whatever you don't have, right? He withheld it from you. And whatever people have amassed, right? He was the one that gave it to them. And without him, they will not have obtained it. And so as a result of that, all those emotional energy that we direct, right? All those energy where is as a result of attributing things to other than Allah. Rather, they should be directed to Allah. And so we give Allah his right, that he is the one that deserves to be worshipped, to be obeyed, and to be feared. And for us, we should understand that all the good comes from him. And so the people should not stop us from speaking or acting on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded. And I believe that the way to impress this idea upon ourselves, or upon the heart, or subconscious, whatever you choose to call it, right, is about pondering upon the Quran, reading about it, and having this reflection, that truly recognizing that it's about Allah. And so, my challenge of trying to enjoy good and forbid evil uh, is not the problem. It's just the surface. Rather, what needs to be addressed is all that comes before that. Like, am I really seeking the good from Allah? Am I am I expecting that if I go and talk to somebody, nothing will happen except what Allah has written for me? Am I understanding that those people who did not give me what I wanted, it was Allah that withheld it from me? And even when I lost something of my honor, or right, it was Allah that wrote it for me. And if Allah wanted, I could have obtained all the things that I wanted, even better than that. But Allah's decision is just, and He is wise in the decision, right? So I should not be worried about anything, because all that is going to happen to me has already been written for me. And so I should not ascribe partners with Allah, saying that they were the ones that caused this. If only they did this, if only they did that, because that is not the case. And if somebody was to realize that it's about Allah, then the heart should turn to Him and seek from Him, and not ascribe partners with Him. And I believe Iman and Taqwa will be the deciding factor. So, such a person, I believe, who has this, who has real grasp of Tawheed and Qadr, right, and abides by it and uses it, he's not going to be misguided, and such a person will succeed. And so, in all that happens to us, we should be conscious of Allah in that. So then I think of some other things, or I used to think of some things, that why am I angry at this person that did this or did that to me, when all they did, it was never going to miss me, and they were merely a means by which what Allah has written for me reached me. So thinking about that, it's like there's no reason to be angry, and I should not attribute anything to them in such a way that uh, as if I'm attributing cause to them, because it's almost like associating them as partners with Allah, and we seek Allah's refuge. So rather, these people are what I'm tested with, right? I should not attach emotions to them, not praise or blame. And when all people have is all what Allah has given to them, and without Him, they will not have got obtained it, because there is no ability to do good or accept evil except by Him. Then it means that they are all just a test for me. And so I try to use Tawheed and Qadr to, like, yeah, the way I can think of it is like as an arsenal in my life, right? When I'm trying to do something and I feel fear, I try to go deep and ask myself that what is it I'm fearing, and is it true? And one way or the other, I used to see it as attributing cause to Allah. If one realizes that all good is from Allah, and love is the one that causes us to take all actions, right? And we desire all that is good, then we should realize that all that is good is from Allah, and so Allah is the one that is deserving of the love. And of course, we are being tested in that. So that's it for this video.